Florida Republican Congressman Brian Mast serves on the Foreign Affairs and Transportation Committees. And of course, we know he is one of our heroes, U.S. Army veteran. First of all, you see that ship pull up, and that's got to send some shockwaves through Maduro's camp.
Oh, 100%. It has him thinking about whether he's going to join Bashar al-Assad for exile in Russia, or whether he's going to speak to President Trump about if he can maintain some relevance by giving, oil deals to the United States of America. But in the end, he is a foreign terrorist organization, and there's no more appropriate use than that big, beautiful carrier strike group that's funded by the American taxpayer than to protect the American homeland. And to make one other quick point on it, because some people have said, well, is this overkill? Why do we need so much in the Gulf of America against these drug boats and other things? Let's not forget that Venezuela is a nation state. They have old generation F-16s. They have Russian jets. So if they wanted to, they could bring to bear other forces against what we bring to bear against those drug boats.
Well, and look, along with what you just detailed, there's this element of it that's popped up. Iran is now in the equation. Iran has put their backing behind Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro and warned of, quote unquote, dangerous repercussions from any U.S. military action taken. Venezuela welcomes that support from Iran. So what does this do? Is this a game change?
It's not an empty threat, and it's something that has historical backing. Iran has docked its vessels in Venezuela previously. They have a very open relationship. Venezuela in the past has essentially been a location for a Russian fleet week, if you want to call it that. So they've had Russian vessels there. China operates there. So, you look at that axis of those that are working against the United States of America, and very specifically in that narco arena, that is Venezuela, that is China, that is Russia. And that is Iran, and they are working in coordination.
All right, let's move to this. In a rare public speech, First Lady Melania Trump spoke about the changing battlefield facing U.S. military personnel and how artificial intelligence will redefine the way they fight in war. Here she is talking with Marines at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina.
Technology is changing the art of war. Predictably, AI will alter war more profoundly than any technology since nuclear weapons. The most significant change will be speed. Speed in weaponry, decision-making, detection, attack, and defense. Artificial intelligence will take center stage in the theater of war.
Well, the Trump administration is weighing a measure to stop individual U.S. states from enacting their own AI policies. The president posted earlier this week, we must have one federal standard instead of a patchwork of 50 state regulatory regimes. Why is that an issue, and how critical is what he's talking about?
When we talk about everything related to AI, you're talking about lithography, you're talking about chips, you're talking about the waffles, the coding, the training, the cloud. You're talking about a host of different things that you're bringing to bear with this. And if you have a patchwork in dealing with things from California to New York to Florida, we are putting the United States of America at a serious disadvantage. And what the First Lady has said is very accurate. We're looking at not just how artificial intelligence affects the battle space, but artificial intelligence layered upon unmanned platforms. And what does that do? Creating this new layer of war, unmanned platform against unmanned platform, to ultimately get to where there is a real element that brings a capitulation in war, which is the human factor. When do you actually get to that human factor where you're causing the pain that brings capitulation in war? And this is a whole new level to it.
Just real quickly, there is this element, too, of every state, everybody has elections, and every time they change, head of state for any of our states, that might change, too, whatever AI they're using. So everybody needs to be on the same place or on the same page, because doesn't that create a way for our enemy to say, well, you know what, we're going to hit that state over there because we know they're not on board with the federal government?
my committee, Foreign Affairs, we deal very specifically with export controls. And that is what it is, to look at which chips are going to go into China, at what level of compute, which ones are going to be sold to allies like Japan or Israel or other places, or not be sold. What is the use that they're going to be allowed for? Are they going to be allowed to be used in weapons platforms, or just something more of a civilian use technology? All of those things are a part of consideration, and they're at the highest level of conversation daily here in the Capitol.
Congressman Mast, great to have you. Thank you.
Thank you.